What's up, guys? Joey here. So today I'm going to be doing some more RSR testing in some big titles that really need more performance. So the two main ones that come to mind that I want to test are Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown. Now, I'm testing at ultra-wide 3440 by 1440 because it's a high resolution similar to 4K or 1440p Ultra, where your GPU is generally maxed out, like it's close to 90%. Like on a 6700 XT, I can easily hit 99% utilization. And I've actually had people that have tried RSR on Tarkov with similar specs to mine, but a 5800X, and they were testing at a much lower resolution, which Tarkov is not the most optimized game to begin with. And apparently the performance went down. So they went from like 110 FPS with RSR off at 1080p to 80 FPS with RSR on, and they were asking me why. And the first thing that I can think of is that if your game is already not demanding enough on your GPU, your setup, I think he had a 6800 XT, then your utilization that's already under 90% is going to be even lower when you lower the resolution to upscale it. So from 90%, it's going to go to 60% or less at 720p, for example, for upscaling. And what that does is the boost of your GPU is going to sit lower, which because the game is fully optimized, right? So you're going to have lower utilization on your GPU. The boost is going to sit lower, and that is probably a combination of why you end up with overall lower FPS rather than the FPS going up, it's going down. So I'm going to test it ultra-wide to see if the same thing happens or if our FPS goes up. And I know that my 6700 XT actually runs around 99% in ultra-wide 3440 by 1440 with my 5600X. So I am expecting a boost, but because the utilization is crappy in Tarkov, like, they don't care about AMD. They don't want to implement FSR. They're on a dated Unity engine. Even when they updated it, they were updating from an old version to an old version. They didn't even update to the latest. I don't want to go too much into that because I know there'll be people defending Battlestate. But to me, they just do not care about putting everything they have into optimization when they're still releasing maps. They're still, it's basically a never-ending early access, right? And they're still releasing maps and content rather than focusing on fixing the game engine and making it smooth and fixing. There's a lot of things I could go into. But long story short, we're going to test Tarkov, and then we're going to go on a Hunt Showdown, and I'll clip this as necessary just to try to make it not too long. And yeah, we'll see if there's a performance difference at these higher resolutions, and that's where you'd actually have one of these cards to begin with. Like, I wouldn't get a 6700 XT or higher for 1080p. When you could probably get away with a 6600 XT or similar card and still push high FPS in the games that need it. So anyway, without further ado, I will turn my cam off. I'm sure you don't need to see me. And I will still commentate because this is more relevant. Like, I've got to tell you what I'm feeling, if there's any jitters, and explain a little bit. One thing is, as well with Tarkov, is even though I run 3440 by 1440, normally I run medium texture quality because of the higher native resolution. Now, because I'm upscaling 1080p, 2560 by 1080, and I'm upscaling from that lower base resolution, I turn texture quality back up to high. But normally, most people with like a high-end GPU will still run high texture quality anyway, but I just noticed it got rid of some of the optimization stutters here and there when traveling across the map. I got less spikes, like random FPS spikes, which just tend to happen in Tarkov. So just to show you my settings, and I will clip this so that you don't have to sit through the looking for match, but I've already set it to 2560 by 1080, which means that RSR should already be active. And you can just see my settings here. It's on very competitive settings. Object LOD quality is generally recommended to keep around mid-range if you have a strong CPU like a 5800X. For the 5600X, I did notice my average was about the same, but my minimums were just more stable with minimal object LOD quality, and it does hit FPS by about 5 FPS to go to 3, for example. So it's not really, it's kind of like a negligible difference, but I'll just keep it on 2 for this testing to get the best possible result we can get. And you'll probably see the GPU utilization and everything. So I'll actually set it back to 3440 by 1440 for now, so you can actually see if there is any noticeable visual difference too. Here should be fairly safe. Okay, so in this spot, we're at about 80 FPS, and using my monitor OSD, which I don't think you can see when I bring it up on the screen, I can see I'm running at 3440x1440 at 100 Hz. And this is in full screen mode because, you know, you can't use borderless. And we're just going to look at the FPS, make sure it's stable. About 80 FPS in this specific spot. Okay? And then we're going to enable RSR. And just so you can also see my settings again. And now 2560x1080. That should have automatically enabled RSR. And there's a hotkey for it. And yeah, it looks like we are at a higher FPS, but when I reset the counter, we're getting FPS drops. It could be the rain though, because the rain started getting heavier. It's very hard to test accurately when there's different weather conditions and things like that. And yeah, I just disabled RSR and I saw the gun, the shaft of the gun, the clarity of the texture worsen a bit. So it's disabled right now, and there is like a 2 FPS hit from enabling it. The upscale, so the upscaling is back on, that's enabled. Disabled. Enabled. Disabled. You can actually tell if you look at the little logo on the hilt of the gun, on the stock, or on the cover, you can see the B blurs when I disable it. So enabled, disabled, enabled, enabled, disabled. I was getting confused there. Enabled, disabled, and we'll try to look at some more fine texture because you can tell as well on the ground, even though the ground texture of those cigarettes is pretty poor. Enabled, disabled, enabled, disabled, and yeah, we are hitting very high FPS when I stare at the ground, but that's irrelevant. What we care about is here. So if I stare at this spot and I don't move, we're on about 85 FPS, and as you can see, the utilization, the optimization is just terrible. It's not hitting anywhere near 90%, and the CPU has a lot of headroom. I'm running dual channel RAM. I'm sorry, I gotta fix that. I'm on 2x8 gig sticks again because I watched some ancient gameplays testing, and it just didn't seem worth it when my son's rig needed some RAM. So this is 2x8, 3600 megahertz. I have to fix that in the OSD. I might just do that now and clip it off the video because I don't want to be advertising the wrong amount of RAM. It takes a second. So yeah, 2x8, and you can see the RAM usage. Now apparently Tarkov does benefit from running dual rank or 4 sticks and 32 gig, but for me I tested and it was a small difference on my setup on this particular GPU. Maybe on a higher end GPU it would help a bit more. But we'll just try running around a little bit here and go to another position. So at this scene, 97 FPS, this is RSR, it was disabled. I have it enabled now. So it does look really good. I mean, just to be honest, when you even look at some other texture, like if we look at this barrel here, if I disable it, you can see it blur around the thing. You can see that blurring. See, disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled. So even though it's a low quality barrel texture to begin with, like that could have been better. Maybe something with straight lines, or leaves are really good for this actually. So if we look at these leaves, if they weren't moving so much. No, we need something not in the wind. Those are low quality. It's annoying because not all textures in this game are equal quality. Some are really, really low quality, and you just gotta like look for something higher quality. Maybe this log or this flooring with the little nails in it. So disabled. Enabled. Disabled. Yeah, you can already see it on this line here. Disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled. If I disable it and I just look around, you can also see if the plants, just if anything looks much worse in general. It actually doesn't seem that bad at this type of resolution difference. It's like 25% lower than native, but it still seems pretty darn good. But you can see you mainly notice it on the hand texture, the glove, the bandage, the wrap on his left arm, and the gun. And when I re-enable it, that just sharpens up a little bit. Even the wood grain. What's an angle? Need to turn my gun sideways. Wait, can I, wait, just check something. Yeah, you can see it in the menu too, because it is a full screen implementation. So look at the P.A.K.A. armor. I'll disable it and watch it blur. It just went to the 2560x1080, and then we'll re-enable the upscaling, and it's back. And we can probably see it on our character model too, which we normally can't see in-game. Disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled. It should be some very obvious blurring when I disable it. And then when I re-enable it, you'll see even, look at his arm sleeves, the lines on the sweater. Enabled. Disabled. Enabled. And we'll try going from the back. Because there's some writing that's really good for it. So when he stands straight. Disabled. Enabled. Disabled. Enabled. Very noticeable there on the backpack. Disabled. Enabled. So just to show that, and then we'll go back to the performance testing. I know we're a little bit all over the place, but I'm trying to cover. I want you guys to really see the difference and how good it seems to be. So in this particular spot, staring this way, maybe there's less AI at this direction because the game has some weird optimization. If you're just facing the same direction as some AI, as some bots, you'll get lower FPS. So staring this way, I'm getting about 109, 110 FPS. And then if we go back and set it back to native 3440 by 43, then 110, and we're down to 77. So that's like 20 FPS, 23 FPS, 23, 24 FPS gain at this angle. But the problem is when I look around, I could test another angle and then the FPS gain could be like 10. So if I look over here, let's look a direction where there might be some bots or something. But that's significant. That's like 20 FPS. That's really good. I would happily run uncapped rather than having to cap it lower because that higher FPS helps. And even though I'm only on a 100 Hz monitor, I'm not running at 100 FPS. So yeah, every FPS I get makes a bigger difference when you're not hitting your refresh rate. I'm just trying to look for somewhere else that has a different angle or some more enemies or something like that. Okay, maybe over here. There's like a nice big view with a lot of trees and view distance. This is where we might see more of a utilization bottleneck or utilization limitation, whatever. So we're on 85 FPS on this scene. Okay, 85. It looks pretty stable. Oh no, it just dropped 5 FPS. I haven't even done anything. It dropped 5 FPS. Okay, I'll reset the counter. Or better yet, I'll turn off the FPS counter because we're just going by the current reading. So 80 FPS. And we're going to re-enable 2560x1080. And we're up at 102 FPS. Okay, so in two different parts of the map, even though I don't think there's any bots this way, that's a 20 FPS boost. That is decent. And if I disable it, you'll see it on the hilt of the gun, on the barrel cover, the dust cover. Disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled. It almost looks like the FPS is going up, but the rain is messing with it. The rain makes the FPS move around a little bit, so you can't really tell if the RSR enable and disable is hurting it or not. But we're up at 100. We're up at 100, so that is really good. Disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled. Actually, if you look at the distant trees, just look at the foliage. When I disable it, you see it all get blurry. Disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled. So I'm doing the disable enable thing a lot, but it's just to really get the point across that it is upscaling, it is working, it's functioning. And if you're having trouble getting it working, you need to make sure you're in full screen mode, make sure RSR master switch is enabled in the Radeon software, but you also need to go to settings called preferences and make sure you have in-game overlay enabled because it does not work without this settings, cog, preferences. It does not work without in-game overlay turned on as well. And they don't tell you in the tutorial. There's a little guide when you turn on the master switch. It does not tell you need this turned on. Because a lot of people turn it off, especially if you run Afterburner. And you actually need this enabled, but then it also messes with the performance metrics OSD. And it'll move it around. It's still very new, so you know, if you press Alt-U to disable and enable it, you'll see your metrics move around. Just disable all your metrics for the time being, if you can live without. Or try not to play with the switch too much. You can still get it working together, but yeah, your metrics box will move all over the screen. So, just to make sure, I wish this rain would stop. You can also see these textures. Disabled, enabled, and it's not that big a deal. Disabled. I'm noticing it on the grass actually. Disabled, enabled, yeah, see all the flowers? Disabled, enabled. They sharpen right up, or they upscale right up. But where am I? I need to get to Scav House or Old Station. So yeah, running across the map though, this has been pretty consistent. We have been hovering around 100 FPS with RSR enabled, and yeah, it's enabled. Check these flowers. That's enabled, sorry. And if I just quickly go back, we probably won't make the cutoff, but this is only a scav run. And if I just quickly go back, just to see how long, like to stare at my FPS while I run for a bit. We're at 64 FPS in the same area, 67. So around 60 to 70, and we were up at 100 just a second ago. So 70, that's 30 FPS higher in this section of woods just running. Oh, no. You think it still works? No, missing an accent. So yeah, I'll just go on the PMC, whatever. I don't care, I don't play this seriously anymore. Sure, all cares. They'll wipe it anyway, there's no point even caring about keeping your stuff. We'll see if we get the same FPS boost on customs, but that was pretty good. 30 FPS is nice for RSR. We're still in beta. It's gonna be in beta for 12, 13 to 14 until version 1, which is like next millennium. Okay, so hey, this is a good place to test. Look at this. So let's hope no one rushes us. This is a nice indoor scene. 83 FPS. There's no rain to mess with it. 84 FPS. And then we're gonna enable 60 by 1080. And we're up at 94 FPS. So see what I mean? It's less of a boost this time. So we only gained like 8 FPS this time. Or yeah, around 8 FPS. And make sure it's enabled too. Disabled, enabled, and I can show you this texture here on this rock pillar. Disabled, you see it gets soft, enabled, disabled, enabled. That's where I heard running, bro. But yeah, depending on which way I look, it can go all the way up to 100 FPS, right? Though it could be a bigger boost. It looks like around 8 to... What the heck? They better be scavs. Why are they running all the way around the building? This could be hackers. I mean, I'm not saying it's hackers, but when they run around you where you are, and they just keep doing it, and then they'll eventually just randomly run to where you are, like where you're camping or sitting, and tap you. Hey, I got him. Okay, there were scavs. Good. No hackers. Thank you. He knew where I was. It's because I'm naked. That's probably why. They've got the scav detection. Like they home in on you if you go in and try to hatchet run. and I only had a pistol, so that could have also been why they were acting funny. Okay, sorry for all the non-hacking hackers that might have got offended at that, blaming them. It wasn't you guys. Okay, so wandering around in here, we're just going to do a quick lap, and so you can just see the FPS. I'm getting around anywhere from 80, 90, 87, 90 to 100, depending on what I'm looking at. And we're also just going to look at something that... Did I get him? Jeez. That's intense. I'm not looking for a big fight. I'm just trying to test stuff, guys. Am I bleeding? I'm alright. Jeez. Oh, good on me. Did I really just drop that and it disappeared? Like, do I have a torch? There we go. Okay, wait, we can actually use this torch. Okay, back to the testing. Disabled, enabled, so it is enabled. Why am I fighting so many scavs? I'm just trying to test something. Did I get him? I did. Cool. So yeah, I can still kill scavs after not playing for months and months. I've got a little community here. That's nice. I need his ammo. So yeah, you can see we're getting like it's fluctuating a bit, but 80 to 90 FPS. And I'll just play a little bit. You can just see some gameplay. My middle mount. My middle mount is broken because I'm back to my G502. Wait, these are about the same size, aren't they? No, this is a little bit bigger. Yeah, that. Just gonna try to hang everything with me. I actually need this for a quest. You can see the little tick in the number 2. So did I get even the guy out? Hey, I did. That. So because we're in a bit more of a controlled area, I'm gonna try turning the benchmark tool on, so you can just see what kind of minimums and stuff we're getting, if it's more or less stable. Oh, another azimuth. Is that really what they're called? Okay, we're gonna go back in. You can just see around 100, 1% of 77, which is actually close to, I think, my native, or maybe a bit less than my native resolution 1% lows. But the 0.1 and 1% being close together is actually a good thing. That's come a long way in terms of Tarkov optimization, because it used to be like you'd get really bad FPS spikes, like FPS drops where you'd see like 20, and very noticeable input latency, like mouse delays and stuff like that. I'll also turn on the Tarkov FPS counter just so you can see that it is online and everything. I haven't clipped the video and somehow made it offline. There should be other players in here somewhere. Okay, so running around this warehouse, you can just see average of around 93 FPS, and I'll just do one more lap because I want to make this as thorough as possible. I'll reset the counter here, and it just goes straight back to roughly the same. So it is an accurate reading, around 90, 96, 99. Yeah, you can see it's gone back to 95. Still all over the place, probably because of that door. Like when I look over that way, it spikes the FPS, and then when I come back this way, it drops back down. Okay, and then if we go back, so just keep that in mind. It definitely north of 90 FPS at 2560 upscaled. And then we go back to native, and oh, we're still getting 90 here where I run that spot, but the average is dropping. The 1%, I'll reset it again because we saw the 1% lows drop right down. 68 on the 1%, 83. Okay, so I'll even look out there a bit like before, and it was 100 here when I ran up this way. We're getting 89, so it's only about 10 FPS at this, in this specific warehouse of the map, and the actual frame times look more stable because they're closer together. Like it's not like 100 average and 70 on the 1%. It's more like 80 average, 81%. So maybe that's actually more stable than native. And I just kind of want to extract this map because I've got a quest item and oh no, you can see it's jittery over here, like the just standing in this spot, maybe from the light or something else. But in this spot, the frame time is not as stable as it could be. I think we're near bots, and maybe the game renders them through the walls and stuff. Yeah, but I'll hold an angle now just so we can get a bit more comparison. 87 FPS. I've reset the benchmark, and the 1% dropped to 76. That's fairly stable. I'll make sure RSR is enabled, which it is. Disable. I've got to look at something that's going to change quality. Oh no, this is sorry, this isn't native. I'm confused. This is 3440x1440 RSR can't be enabled, and I'm getting 86 FPS. And then I have to enable 2560x1080 to see the boost. Yeah, you can tell by the big OSD. So yeah, the OSD resolution also changes. Might get shot here. Where'd that guy go? He just freaking ghosted. On this angle, we only gain no FPS. We're actually at the same FPS, and RSR is enabled. When I enable it, you can see the gun shaft and the glove sharpen up for sure. Yeah, that scav's like stalking me. He's just behind here, I'm pretty sure. He's gonna get me. My aim! Jeez. How am I not dead? Did they make scavs like miss more? Normally the scavs one-tap me. Maybe they made it easier. We can look at this. We can look at this for a RSR on versus off. Off, on, off, on. No, not really. The texture quality is too low. Maybe his pants. Off, on, off. Well, I guess it's not doing anything if the texture quality is too low. Like, see what I mean? How the game has some uneven texture differences with it in regards to quality. Sometimes it's a noticeable difference, and sometimes you can't even tell from the higher and lower resolution. I can tell in the menu, off, on, yeah, you just look at my armor or something. Off, on, but jeez, I can't aim. This gun sucks. I want my pistol back. I'll die over here. Who cares? We'll end the video and go to Hunt Showdown. But you can see it varies. I was not getting much of a boost before. Where did that guy go? He ran off. Is this another MP133? Okay. Kind of questing here. I just want to extract 2. I need these for... Okay. We get some more shotgun ammo. Wait, who's shooting at me? From where? What's that from? Over there. Oh, jeez. Where the heck is he? Where's he shooting at me from? He's in there. Okay. What are you doing? Was it delay? Oh, my ping's like 100, but... Is this another shotgun I need? No, it's 153. Please, what is this? How many shots? Let me leave. But yeah, look, we've gone back to the same rough average, and I've just been shooting and fighting around here, right? What is that? That looks fancy, but not. I'm probably pushing my luck here, if you can't tell. I should just get out while I can. I'm having too much fun. Okay, I went in like with a pistol, and now I'm kind of getting there. So this corner, we're on 115 FPS at this angle, but we're not really facing any bot spawns. Well, they're probably all dead. 110 FPS, and then if we go back to native, '88 FPS, 92 FPS. So it's only like a, oh no, 110 though. So that's like a 20 FPS game. 92 with 90 on the 1% lows. Oh shit. I swear there must be a player here. Just want to get away from it. I'll get shot in the back of the head. Don't worry. Okay, here's a good spot. 94. I want to stand out in the open because I think there's a player hunting me somewhere. Okay. 102 at this angle with RSR enabled. I'll just make sure it's enabled, sorry. Disabled, enabled, disabled, enabled. Yeah, you can see it on the armor really easily. And 101 with 82 on the 83 on the 1%. Down to 91 and 13. No, 93, 91. So the 1% is actually a little bit better at the native resolution. So yeah, it's kind of hit and miss in terms of FPS stability. Because yeah, no, I've gone down again anyway. It's just the leaves moving or something else, or bot walking around somewhere might have actually just caused that. Whatever. Let's try to get out of this map and go to Hunt Showdown. Where's my extract? Crossroads? Storms. Trailer Park. How am I gonna get out of here alive? I bet you there's freaking players everywhere. Or scavs. Scav players. Scavs. What's that? That's a scav, right? Oh, he saw me. I want to fight. I don't want to fight. Let me out. Let me out. Why are you coming behind me? Oh, wait. I thought this was like someone camping the door. Can I get out here? I don't know if I've got full gas. I don't think I do. I think it's Trailer Park, the one I should try to get to. Hey. I should have hotkeyed these. In this area, and then back to RSR. I know I'm all over the place. You'll just have to pay attention to the OSD or rewatch this if you want that solid gameplay. I just want to go home. I don't have IUAF or whatever the heck it is, do I? Oh no, I do. Maybe. How's my hunger and everything? It's enough. Alright, please. Please! Please. See that? What the heck? That's lame. I'm gonna get killed. He's just gonna come down here and kill me now. I don't think I can make it on this. I can try to run for it. Don't catch me though. If he ran straight away to get me while I'm injured, then oh, there's a scavenger too. Right. What the heck? Go away! Don't shoot me. Go away, go away, go away. Go away. Just want to get out. Jeez. How are they not killing me? What was that? 15 seconds. Oh, that's funny. Alrighty, so at least hopefully you got some idea. It is helping, but I'm not sure about those 1%. If they're not improved by much, then it's just a game optimization. But it does help. It does help get higher FPS, and the visual difference is small, very small. I was like enjoying that, but I couldn't even tell. Like when I was switching back and forth, I was even forgetting which resolution I was running at because RSR was improving the quality enough that I barely noticed. But I also had the pixel peak though, so I had to like stare at certain pixels even to make sure I'd enabled it. So it could have just been that 2560x1080 is not that big of a resolution drop to even matter at these higher resolutions at ultra wide on a 34-inch monitor. So yeah, you can see that was a live game because I've just extracted with all my stuff, and I'll deal with this later. I'll just move it all so that I don't accidentally test and have to do this again. And my task was for many people. Add quests. Oh, I wish I had accepted some of these before starting that map. That's annoying. I could have sworn, yeah, there we go. Who cares about the life? I actually needed that. Oh, I could have been doing so many quests on that, and you know, multitasking. Anyway, now I'll clip this. I might actually just make it a second video. I know I said I was going to test Hunt Showdown. I'll just name this video Tarkov testing so that people don't get the wrong idea by clicking on it, and I'll just do a second separate video for Hunt Showdown. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next part. Bye.